Today, everybody and their mama knows that Juan Soto is going to be one of the most sought-after free agents at the end of the season. But is Francisco Lindor doing a little bit of recruiting? We break down a bombshell report that came out this week about the actual reality of Juan joining the team. What's going on, everybody? My name is Flobo Boyce. You're locked into Mets Digest, your one-stop shop for Mets content all around the world. If you're a Metropolitan like me, say what's up. It is a difficult job to be a Mets fan, but I'm so glad you're rocking with the crew. Do me a favor, if you're watching this right now and you're not part of that subscribe crew, if you're in that not subscribe faction, say forget it. Hit that subscribe. Make sure you're in the know when new content drops. Myself, alongside Mike D'Angelo, we break down news and notes whenever they come across our desk to make sure you guys are well informed. Well, what a weekend we went. The team heads over to Arizona after splitting a series against the Padres. Must win. You're going to hear that phrase a lot when it comes to the squad. Really wasn't a chance to win a team that's technically stronger in San Diego, but you definitely have to win the next two against Arizona and the White Sox, because not only are the San Diego Padres doing well, the Diamondbacks are doing well as well. And of course, the Atlanta Braves, that are having a struggling top half of the month, are rocking and rolling. Why am I mentioning this now? Well, because everyone's thinking about not only this season, but seasons moving forward and how you can fortify the team to be a long-term success. When Steve Cohen bought the team, he wanted this to be the Dodgers of the East. And I hate the comparison, but I understand the comparison. But anything has been kind of topsy-turvy since we kind of realized about the prospects of this man, Juan Soto, currently playing for the New York Yankees, but also a former Padre and Washington Nationals. In fact, that Washington Nationals deal he rebuffed is really going to be the crux of this story. Has really done his job over in the Bronx, over with the Yankees, being able to be the number 2 or number 1 hitter, depending right now. Judges on the tear, so he's kind of that number 2 spot. But just whenever you needed him with a little bit of offensive prowess, he was there. And that's the kind of numbers you want to have on a free agent year, because frankly, the man stands to get paid. No one has been this good for this long, being this young. And so, in a report that I came across through SNY, but it was really from a report by Jeff Passan over at ESPN, Francisco Lindor, my captain, or purely in the conversation of captaincy, if they're ever going to do that again, and of course, an MVP candidate, if there ever was one, was actually asked about the prospect. What it would look like, what he'd be looking forward to if Juan Soto ever decided to come to the Mets. Now, you're probably watching this right now and say, what makes you think that's going to happen? Well, with that kind of talent, you need a big pocketbook, you need a big wallet, and not many teams qualify. And so this report actually said it was going to be New York versus New York. But Francisco Lindor said this: when it comes to the outfielder from across the borough, he's having a fantastic year, he told Jeff Passan. Now, gotta give props for San Francisco for not saying the Yankees. It means the world to me. I hope he goes out and breaks every record out there when it comes to getting paid. If he's with us, it'll be fantastic, and it'll help us a lot. Now, all eyes have been on Francisco Lindor the past couple weeks, because people are finally getting on that bandwagon that I built my own 2 hands years ago when Francisco came over from Cleveland. Everyone has started to realize that ever since being shifted up higher in the lineup and changing the walk-up song, has really been on a tear that's lasted a sustainable part of time, and not just on offense, on defense as well. So much so, there is a very concerted MVP season. Why am I saying all this? Well, if you have a platform that Francisco does now, and everyone's looking at you and saying, hey, look, have you heard about the rumors of being the MVP? Have you heard about the rumors of everyone thinking you're great? And you say, yeah, I just want to put a little nugget of news out there that I would totally be open to Juan Soto coming over and helping out this team. Well, that is a signal boost if there ever was one. But I gotta be honest with you also, I'm kind of jaded, and being jaded is kind of cool because I'm from New York, and being jaded and being cynical is kind of part of the deal. But let's look at these numbers, man. Juan Soto is no slouch, definitely needed. Our outfield, as good as it is, can be better. Whether or not it's Marte keeping healthy, or Harrison Bader getting back with the offensive side of things, or even Jesse Winker, someone who is a good solution to enhance a team, but are you sure you want to make him the everyday guy? and the health issues that Brandon Nimmo has dealt with this season with the food poisoning and the impact shoulder and the fainting spell. You really want to have someone who plays every day, someone who's really good, especially in offense, and who is above average in defense. And Juan Soto checks all those boxes, and he's not even 26 yet. And I think it only gets better for a case to have him part of a team. I know the Yankee fans really want him. They don't want him to leave, but it's very apparent that he'll probably go to the highest bidder, and rightfully so. But I thought about that quote. I saw that quote from SNY TV, but I want to do a deep dive into the original source article. In fact, this comes from ESPN Plus, which is the paywall side of the proceedings. I know it's a bummer, but hey, if you can support journalism, you should, because they're doing their jobs. Jeff Passan is pretty much one of the few trusted voices in the space. Check it out when it comes to the actual requirements a team is even going to have Juan Soto. Quote, now doing so with the aid of logic and history helps increase the likelihood such speculation proves correct. And it's with that knowledge, the recognition that age, as much as skill, drives baseball free agency, and Soto's combination of both is singular. The industry agrees the floor for his contract will be $500 million. The floor. The floor, not the top. Like, you have to bring $500 million to the table to even have a chance with Juan. And of course, that's going to come with some major time too. If you're that young, you don't want to put yourself in a 1 or 2 year contract situation. You're going to be locked up for maybe 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe even 15 years if a team really wants to get frosty. And we saw in this first post Shohei Ohtani season, Teoscar Hernandez season, that deferments have no limits. And so if you're willing to pay that money out, and if you're the Mets, you've already dealt with the heckling from Bobby Bonilla Day with deferred contracts, even though deferring contracts are very common practice, but yet we're the only ones that seem to get dragged with such a thing like that. Why not put your hat in the ring? The Yankees will pretty much have to break their bank, quote unquote. They're still a rich franchise too, but they'll have to put everything all in. But if deferment's an option, and we have the farm that we do, the Mets can really make a play to add Juan Soto to the team. The question now becomes, will he fit with the fabric, the chemistry? Will he do the things that we don't think about when we add players to squads? That's going to be something too. We always talk about how people are great until they come to Queens. They forgot how to hit, how to throw, how to do offense and defense. We ship them off, and then they become superstars. Will Juan fall into that trap as well, and we'll be on the hook for a lot of that. One thing I know about Steve Cohen and company is that they're willing to make the big splash when needed, and they're also willing to cut bait if it's not. If the money's too high, I understand. But I do think, when you think about the teams that are even in the conversation, it's pretty much going to be the orange and blue. What do you think? A floor of $500 million? Francisco Lindor being like, come on over and help us? Juan Soto wanting to go somewhere else and making a splash for himself? Or maybe he really wants to grow a beard. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. This has been a crazy week here in Mets land as we roll on with this road trip. We got to come back with some dubs, but definitely I'll be back with more news and notes right here on Mets Digest. Of course, until next time, it's LJM to the bitter end.